we need morals back in our nation.
So how should I describe Lauren Boebert? Well, that's a start.
Melting down if you had to put 10 commandments in the schools out in that part of Colorado, ma'am?
Certainly not in rural Colorado and in Colorado's 4th district. I think that this is something that we need all throughout our nation. And I'm so proud of Governor Jeff Landry. He's a wonderful man, a great friend of mine. And I'm glad that he's in that position and taking action because we need morals back in our nation, back in our schools. And if there's anything that we are going to present in front of our children, it's going to be, it should be the Word of God, because this is the one truth that is never going to change and never going to leave them. It's not some woke fad of the day that you can get canceled for believing in 10 years from now.
And right after this interview, she gave Steve Bannon a hand job.
We need morals back in our nation.
Talk about the theater thing?
Sure. So, Kyle, I certainly have owned up to my night out in Denver. And, you know, I've gone on that public apology tour.
Did you apologize for the behavior that went on with you and your date and the vaping?
Kyle,
or did you apologize for lying to voters about what you did that night and the disrespect that you showed to service workers that night?
If you're a fan of irony, well, then this is an all-you-can-eat buffet. If you missed the story, Louisiana has decided that all the problems in their state can be fixed easily if school children finally understand why they shouldn't covet thy neighbor's ass.
Louisiana is now the first state in the nation to require a copy of the 10 Commandments be displayed in all public classrooms. Soon after the bill was signed into law, the legislation receiving a lot of attention, including pushback from several civil rights groups. The law says all public classes from kindergarten to college must display the 10 Commandments on a poster or framed document by the start of 2025. According to the law, the displays will also feature a statement on how the 10 Commandments have been a, quote, prominent part of American public education for almost 3 centuries.
The display of the 10 Commandments in every classroom in public, elementary, secondary, and post-education schools in the state of Louisiana. Because if you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original lawgiver.
Well, that was easy. So the very Christian governor of Louisiana signed a bill requiring the posting of the 10 Commandments in public schools. The Christians love this. But has anybody told them that Moses and Jesus were Jews?
Jews will not replace us!
Having Lauren Boebert as the ambassador for Christian values is like having a window seat on a Boeing jet.
The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk that's not in the Constitution. It was in a stinking letter, and it means nothing like what they say it does.
In case you've been in a cave, I love you longtime Lauren, who definitely knows how to get her money's worth in a dark theater and whose ex-hubby exposed himself to school kids, is sharing her views on religion with a twice-convicted felon who stole money from a charity and is headed to jail for his part in an attempted coup. Did I miss anything?
Maybe we need to have some sort of legislation that requires constitutional life and biblical citizenship training in our schools. And that's how we get things turned around.
I don't believe there was disrespect. There were things that were absolutely taken out of context.
Oh, yeah, she's a certified idiot on the reverse Mensa level, who, for the record, will be unemployed next year after she loses in the fall. Next summer, if you want to hear her wise inklings, you can find her hostessing at the Cracker Barrel. But let's get back to Louisiana. Posting the 10 Commandments by government officials who have foobarred the state in every way you can is rich, to say the least. While Jesus may have fed the poor, not so much in Louisiana. Louisiana has the worst-ranked economy in the nation and the highest poverty levels in the U.S., with nearly 1 out of every 5 residents living in poverty. Child poverty is 1 in 4. And here's a surprise. Louisiana has the 3rd worst public education system in America. Louisiana also has the 5th worst healthcare system. Compared with the other 49 states, Louisiana ranks in the top 5 in all the wrong categories. Infant mortality, heart disease, cancer, strokes, COVID, chronic lower respiratory diseases, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and kidney disease. And 54% of the births in Louisiana are to unmarried moms. Louisiana has the nation's highest incarceration rate. They rank as one of the top 7 states with the worst infrastructure. Louisiana also is the most polluted state in America, home to the infamous Cancer Alley, the stretch of the Mississippi between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, so nicknamed because of the concentration of petrochemical facilities. And this, Louisiana's violent crime rate is 65% higher than the national average. While the average state population is growing at 0.5%, Louisiana's is the exact opposite, with twice that many people leaving. I wonder why. But hey, they have the 10 Commandments.
If you don't like our religion, then we don't want you in our country.
Now, as an aside, Louisiana also voted for Trump in 2016 and in 2020. And if there's anyone who knows about the 10 Commandments, it's Tiny Fingers. He breaks one almost every day.
Never allow the big media or left-wing pressure groups to silence you, censor you, discriminate against you, or in any way tell you what you have to say. They want you to say what they want to have you say, and we're not going to let that happen. You're going to say as you want, and you're going to believe, and you're going to believe in God. You're going to believe in God because God is here and God is watching. God is watching. And God probably can't believe what he's seeing.
Let's review. The first 3 commandments are essentially God saying, I'm God and you're not. Trump says,
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Feel like Donald Trump is in some way God's chosen one as a candidate?
I do.
Then there's the one about not killing people.
Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody.
Of course, irony alert, followed by this.
I am so for the death penalty.
Then, of course, there's the one about adultery.
You have no choice.
I don't know if you caught it. It was in the news, I think.
The orange elephant in the room, obviously.
How do you feel about that specific night now that you look back at everything that's
Nauseous.
happened?
I mean, it's pretty terrible. And I really struggle with that. I had an ex a long time ago that was great at his little pearls of wisdom, and he used to say all the time, put yourself in a bad situation and bad things happen.
But if there's one commandment Trump really wipes his ass with, it's do not steal.
Breaking news for you at this hour. A federal judge is ordering President Trump to pay $2 million to a series of nonprofit organizations, part of a settlement in a lawsuit that alleges the president misused his own charitable foundation.
The point being, if you really want to understand Louisiana, look at Trump and the evangelicals. Louisiana has 11 times more churches than they do schools, and now they have the 10 Commandments. This is the Republican playbook. If something is wrong, it's a Democrat's fault. Even as Republicans vote against funding for the aforementioned problems, they take credit for them when they pass into law and help their states. Inserting religion into government is not only unconstitutional, it gives these people hope that Jesus is going to somehow get the lead out of their water or the pollutants out of their air or build their roads, bridges, parks, and water treatment plants. Jesus doesn't do that. Federally funded programs do, though.
They like to say, oh, Jesus didn't need an AR-15. How many AR-15s do you think Jesus would have had? Well, he didn't have enough to keep his government from killing him.
Comedian Bill Hicks once said, symbols are odd. Like, you think when Jesus comes back, he's going to want to see another cross? Considering what I've seen, I think the same applies to Republicans.
Damn right. This isn't their Republican Party anymore. Am I wrong?
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I'm Chip Franklin.